Hey, it's time for another Attitudes and Images. So it's a beautiful October day. It is about 80 degrees. We're not going to have very many of these left, so I thought I'd be outside and share a little bit of nature with you as we talked about our next little question of the day, question of the week. So I want you to think about the very best money you've ever spent. And I'm not talking about buying a home or buying your car or even a trip. Mine obviously would be my education. I am so grateful for my education and what it's afforded me to do, and now that I'm retired, that I have a good retirement. What I'm talking about is those little things that you go, I don't know if I should do this or not. Now, I gave you an example when I talked about my 9/11 experience, about going to the Trade Center, the World Trade Center, just 3 months and 3 days before it fell, and how grateful I was that I spent that $13.50 to ride the elevator up. I'm going to give you three more examples, and I want you to think about what is the best money you've ever spent. Well, one of the things that, well, that was weird. One of the things that one of the best money I've ever spent was in 2002. I was in Mexico, I was in San Diego, and we decided to walk across the border into Mexico. So we did that. We took the train down to the border and then walked over into Tijuana. And when it was time to come home, because 9/11 had just happened, within 9 months of that, the line to get back across the border was horrendous. I can't even begin to tell you. And so I walked up and I said, what are you guys sitting here waiting for? And they go, we're waiting to get across the border, because they were walking across the border. And I thought, I do not want to be waiting 3 or 4 hours to walk across the border. By the time you get done walking into Tijuana, you're done. You just want to come home. So all of a sudden I looked over, and there was these people that were selling or renting these bikes. So you'd rent this bike for $5, and you would ride up, because you weren't walking, so you were on wheels, so you could ride up like all the cars, and you rode in between the cars. Took us about, 4 or 5 minutes to ride from where we are up to the border. We answered the questions, are you citizens of the United States? Yes, blah, blah, and got in within 10 minutes. 10 minutes, $5, best $5 I've ever spent. The next one, the next best money I've ever spent that I was hesitant to even go there was my sister and I went on a Mediterranean cruise back in 2012. And we were in Cairo, and I had been to Cairo before, to the museum, and had walked around, and the tour guide said, you have an opportunity for $20 to go into where the mummies, the pharaoh mummies are. Well, for years and years and years, 30 years, I taught about Egyptian history, and I taught about the pharaohs, and so, I was worried that my sister, she was having a hard time, and financially, I wasn't sure if she could do it. She's the one that talked to me. She goes, oh, let's just do it. Let's just go spend the $20 and go into these 2 rooms. And so I walk into these rooms where all these ancient pharaohs of Egypt were, and Hatshepsut, and all these different Ptolemy, all these different pharaohs. And they have 2 rooms. And so I walked into the one, then we walked across into the other, and I walked in. And the one pharaoh that I have talked about, showed pictures of for years and years, was Ramses II, Ramses the Great. And I walked into that room, and there he was. There he was, and it was just like, took my breath away. I said, oh my gosh, before we even got up to see who, what the plaque said, I said, Amy Lou, this is Ramses, this is Ramses, this is the pharaoh was supposed to be around when Moses was here, and I just was like so excited. And so I stood there and again shown pictures for many, many years of Ramses II, and you can see a little bit of his red hair that's still there after 3,500 years. It was incredible. Again, best money I spent. But I have to tell you that I think the best money that I've spent, the best bang for my buck that I've got, was when I signed up to be a Jafra consultant. And let me tell you why. And through the last 39 years, because I've been a Jafra consultant for 39 years, I have had unbelievable support, not just in a business, but in my personal life. I have had business opportunities that by far outweighed the experiences that I ever could have done as a teacher. You know, you go, you teach school, you come home, nobody ever really seems to appreciate, but you know, you can go to a business meeting, you can dress up, you can learn business strategies, you're with successful people, and those opportunities weigh so much on my heart. The other thing that Jafra's afforded me to do is to travel. Oh my gosh, I have been to Washington, D.C. with Jafra. I've been to Boston, Florida many times, you know, and able to take little side trips to go see Disney World and Universal Studios. Texas, you know, I don't think I've ever would have just gone to Texas just because, but what a great experience going to Austin and Dallas to see those beautiful cities. Of course, I've been to California many times because that's where Jafra is based. Also, I earned a trip to Puerto Vallarta, so Jafra has afforded me to even go out of the country and to have that experience to go to Puerto Vallarta. And again, to be with all these successful women and a company that has been so good to me. I think that even more than anything would be that I hold dear to my heart would be the friends that I have met through Jafra. My clients who I would never have had any association with have become my very dear friends, and we have been able to share life experiences together, and what an incredible experience. So my Jafra clients, but I have to tell you that the greatest bond that I've got is with my Jafra sisters, those women who are consultants and managers with me who have blessed my life in so many, many ways. So kudos to my Jafra sisters who we've again gone through just daily life and have been able to experience fun trips with Jafra, and you know, that's been probably my biggest thing. Jafra came into my life when I needed the money. I was going through a divorce and I was teaching school, which wasn't making a house payment, so I had to do an extra job. That's when I became a manager. And yet through the last 39 years, how blessed I have been to have these incredible experiences and incredible people in my life. So what is the best money you have ever spent? I'd like to hear about that. So comment below, let me know. And just remember, invest in yourself and lead from your heart.